And I had a very big challenge a year and a half ago where I was pregnant for 9 months. And at the 9th month, I unfortunately lost my baby. Even after that, I had a patch of time where I didn't have Emunah. And I said, Hashem, I need you to give me back my Emunah. The struggle is the point of life.
Right.
To be numb to our challenges is a form of death. I did go into like intense postpartum depression, which is common. I would say like 2-3 months where I didn't have the passion for anything. I didn't have desire. Everything was numb. I think it's important for women to feel understood and validated.
Right.
Like you are going through a hard time right now and it's so valid, whether it's infertility or, God forbid, abuse.
What do you think is mostly misunderstood about Hasidic women? Okay. We have a special guest here today. There are people who walk through life quietly. That's what they do. They keep their betuchen, they keep their questions, and they keep their pain tucked away. But there's also people, whatever they live through, their confusion, their struggles, and they turn it into a light for others.
Yeah.
Today, we have our guest who did just that. You're one of those souls that takes whatever life is giving you, whatever the Rabbon Shalom gave you, and you share it. You're doing something good out of it.
Thank you so much.
And her name is Sarah,
Thank
known
you.
as the Hasidic Hipster Girl on Instagram. They have 60,000 followers, right? Welcome to the struggle.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, you said it really well. Exactly that. I feel like there are some people that, you know, go through life and their Emunah and Batachon piece is definitely there. It's there and it's just hidden and it's not expressed. But for me, it's vital that it's expressed. It's part of my life for it to be expressed. So I'm excited to dive into this episode.
I like it. Very good. So before we start, what I want to do is I want to take you back to your childhood.
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about where you're coming from. Where did you grow up? How was school like?
Okay, we're going
like?
there. We're going there. Okay. So a lot of people don't know this because I speak English very well, thank God. But I was actually born and raised in Paris, France until I was 10 years old. So a big part of my childhood was shaped by French culture, Jewish French culture, but very much French, Sephardic, a little bit of Chabad. My parents grew up in Morocco and then became closer to Chabad later on in their lives. And I am the oldest of 5 kids. And so I really grew up with this blend of Moroccan Chabad. And why am I talking so much about culture is because culture actually played a really big role into shaping the person I am today. So at 10 years old, we moved as a family to Toronto, Canada, completely across the globe.
Right.
People are like, oh, so you speak French. No, Toronto is fully Anglophone, English speakers.
Right.
And then grew up there for half of elementary / middle and then high school, did a university there, and then did the typical thing that every Jewish girl does, went to seminary, and then, I said university, went to university, and then I started to date. It was time for me to get married, get out of the house, and start a family of my own, start a life of my own. And I was dating all different types of people because I was having a really hard time pinpointing, like, what exactly was my hashkafa.
Right.
I came from such a diverse background. The schools I went to were Ashkenaz. My friends were from all different sides of the spectrum within Judaism. I went to so many different shuls, and I always loved everyone. And it was so hard for me to, narrow my options and just, pick a path and date and start a life from that path. So I really dated Kippah Sruga, Hasidic, Moroccan, Chabad. And then even more than that, I'm just, all these are labels, but you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. I was having a hard time narrowing down exactly where I wanted to go and exactly who I was. I was trying to figure myself out through the dating process, and it was a really challenging time. until I realized, I think I maxed out my Toronto options. I think it's time to move to New York, pick up and go. Simultaneously, what was happening was I had just finished my 4 years of undergrad at York University, and I finished with a communications and humanities degree. Grateful I took it. Do I really need it? Did it lead me anywhere? Yeah, I believe every single thing we do in life leads you to a different place, 100%. But okay, putting that aside, after my 4 years of undergrad, I worked for Chabad in Toronto, and this was a pivot moment. The Rebbitzin, the shlucha there, she took me and the other girl who were working under her for that year, she took us to the Kinnos HaShluchos. So for those of you that don't know what that is, I'll just explain it for the listeners. It's a huge banquet that honors and celebrates the Chabad Rebbitzins around the world.
Because they make one for the shluchim.
Exactly. They make one for the shluchim for the men, and they also make one for the women. And I actually did not know they made one for the women. I thought it was only for men because how could the women get out? They have babies or pregnant and nursing. Like how could it be?
Yeah.
No. I go to this conference. I'm a single girl. I had just finished my undergrad. So I'm in a very secular mindset. I'm from looks-wise, but I'm secular-minded, coming fresh out of university. And I'm in this space where I see a bunch of shluchas, rebbitzins, speak about their experiences in their Chabad houses with the people that come through. And I'm just mesmerized by the amounts of women that are in the room. 3,000 women were in the room. And this was in 2015. And I'm just in awe that I don't even hear what they're saying necessarily. I'm just in awe by this feminine space within an Orthodox Jewish framework. That was very eye-opening for me to see. From tznius, kosher women being celebrated and honored and given a stage to speak and share. And that's when I told myself, it's time I explore Chabad a little deeper. And I'm making a hachlata, which means a spiritual decision, that when I finish this year with my shluchim here in Toronto, in September, I will move to Crown Heights and discover what Crown Heights is about.
It's all about that.
And what Crown Heights has to offer. So fast forward, I finished my year, wonderful year. And just to share that during that year, I was doing a lot of self-discovery. I was asking the rabbi existential questions about God. Okay. And he'll remember, his name is Rabbi Levi Gansberg. And I was working in Kiruv, in Chabad. And I was asking him, how do we know, God is oneness and God is real? And how do we really know, factually, how do we prove it? I was really going there.
Deep.
Going really deep. But, at the same time, I was doing the work. Meaning I was bringing people closer to Judaism. And at the same time, I was questioning.
You were learning.
I was learning and questioning. And they were both, him and his wife, Rifki, were both so patient with me, with my questions. I don't think they understand the extent of the positive influence that they had on me at the time. Because it was a really pivot moment of my life. It's the moment where I'm choosing what lifestyle I want. I'm choosing what my future is going to be.
Right.
And being that, I was raised in a frum home, but I will say that we were much more secular minded as a family. We valued education and degrees. We didn't, when people ask me, did you grow up Chabad? I have a really hard time answering that question because I really feel like there was a huge shift when I went to the Kinnos and living for a full year by Rabbi Levi and Rivki Gansberg in Toronto, who truly embodied what Chabad was about, truly brought people closer through their synagogues, through their activities and programming, working around the clock.
But your father was also closer to Chabad when they moved to Toronto.
Yeah, absolutely.
He became
Absolutely.
closer to Chabad.
Yeah. Before they were married, both of my parents actually became already closer to Chabad. And both of their families are much more traditional. But both my mom and dad, before they met each other, got closer to Chabad and then connected and then got married. So there's that. And I will add that nonetheless, we didn't go to Chabad schools, which is okay. And not only okay, but it was part of the journey. And looking back, I think it was better that way.
Wow.
Yeah. And just mentality. Mentality plays a huge role. It's not just about garb. It's about embodying Chabad.
Wow.
And that's something I'm continuously learning myself.
So that's how you got close to Chabad.
That's how I got close to Chabad.
And then you, in Crown Heights, you got read Shidduchim?
Yeah, exactly. So when I moved to Crown Heights, this is a really interesting piece of my story. I was still, a little secular minded, and I had this really big passion of mine was to become an actress. And so I said, I'm going to go to Manhattan and acting school.
Right.
But I don't have enough money to pay for it myself. My parents are not supportive of that, understandably so.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is work in a seminary as a madricha, because I'm from enough to work in as a dorm counselor. And, we're going to do some sort of trade. So what I did was, this was the deal. I would have to attend Hasidic classes in the morning. And then I would work there as a dorm counselor in the evening. But then I had that chunk of the afternoon time to go to acting school in Manhattan.
Right. So that was a local seminary in Crown Heights?
In Crown Heights, yeah. So you can probably imagine the pull that I was feeling inside myself. In the morning, I'm learning Hasidus. This is my neshama is on fire. I'm learning this amazing Torah that's new to me.
Right.
And in the afternoon, I'm going to Manhattan, very, very, very nature level, but even more than that, it's the way you need to get a role in a play or the whole acting world is so superficial. It's based on what you look like. You get a role based on your size, your hair color.
It's polar opposites.
Polar opposites. Yeah, polar opposites. I wish I had I have the right words to express it, but it's just polar opposites, and we're going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
And every day, the pole is getting stronger and stronger and more polarized. Wow. Yeah. Until I really started, just to explain the polarization, in Manhattan, in acting school, I started feeling I'm very spiritually connected, so I started feeling this energy of something doesn't feel right here. I don't know what it is, but it's beyond professionalism. It doesn't feel aligned for me, but at the same time, I can't give it up. Anyways, I remember I had a period of time. It was a short period of time, but it felt long, where I actually couldn't sleep at night because I knew that being an actress was my purpose. It felt like it was my mission in life. That's all it was. And so I woke up the next morning to go to my Hasidus class very early, 7:20 a.m. That was the deal, really, really early. And I see a very big picture of the Rebbe that was in the hallway that I never saw before. But it was always there.
Right.
And there was a quote next to that photo of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and it said along the lines of, if you have a talent and you are not using it,
right,
it's as if you're wasting every day of your life. Yeah. Okay, maybe not those exact words. I'm paraphrasing.
It's there's a famous line that the Alter Rebbe said, Ayeku, where are you?
Where are you?
Using your talents? Are you doing what you need to do?
Exactly.
That's what you're referring to.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm referring to. And seeing that, I was like, wait, I am using my talents. I'm still in acting school. So does the Rebbe want me to be in acting school? But it doesn't feel kosher.
Right.
And now I'm sensitive enough to understand that it doesn't feel kosher to be there. But what do I do? How do I work with these two polar opposites? And so I actually remember I walked into one of the rabbis there who works as a teacher, but he has a lot of wisdom. And I walked over to him. I said, listen, I'm really torn right now. There is this picture of the Rebbe, and I feel like it really spoke to my heart. I feel like there's a knife in my heart. I feel like I'm in the middle of a fork in the road. And I've always wanted to be an actress to the point that I feel like it's God-given by Hashem that I want to be that. But at the same time, it doesn't feel kosher. It doesn't feel aligned. Very interesting. He tells me, what about acting is it that you love so much? And I said, I love expressing myself. I love performing. I love the community that it gives. And I started listing all the things I love. And he said, do you think you can create that in a different environment? In an environment that feels right for you. Right. He didn't even use any of these religious terms. He knew exactly where I was coming from. He knew how to speak to me. And I was already like, wow. And another thing he said that really shook me was, do you realize that you're reading scripts from people who are maybe on drugs or drunk or in a completely different headspace, and you're just reading them, performing them with so much passion? What if you were to write your own scripts? And I was like, wow, this is like mind-boggling, because this is before social media became like big, right? Before we felt like we had the ability to create our own pathway to Hollywood. Back then, it was a very specific route, right? I'm talking about 15 years ago, very specific route. But it was also like social media was like there, but it wasn't like so loud, and it wasn't the way it is today. And I really took in these words from this rabbi.
It's very powerful stuff.
Very, very powerful. Like, you have a gift. He acknowledged, I have a gift. Yeah. You have a gift.
And a passion.
And they are God-given.
Yeah.
And now your job is actually
to choose right from wrong.
Exactly.
Where to use it.
Where to use it, and really to give them back to God. Because God gives them to you so that you can give it back to him.
Amazing.
And I was like, wow, okay. And that's when I started creating YouTube videos and being more vocal on Instagram and just sharing. And I felt like it filled that void that I really wanted. Wow. That void of self-expression.
You felt content?
Yes.
You felt that it replaced it fully?
Yeah, it really did. It really, really did. And even better than before, because I was writing my own words.
Right. It's not coming from a dark place, a depressed,
author or a random author in the middle of nowhere that I have no idea, I'm not connected to, or someone that's...
Yeah, it's just completely out of your mindset.
Exactly.
This is, when you quote Tanya or when you quote something, you quote solid stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't there yet quoting Tanya. Yeah. We'll get there soon. Yeah. But yeah, I guess we can fast forward and say that the beginning, I was posting a lot of comedy content because I was just like releasing whatever I had in there.
In your acting mode.
Exactly. I was in my acting mode. I was in my performing mode.
Performing mode.
And as the time went on, I realized, what do I really crave? What do I really want? I really want to function from a place where I'm expressing my godliness, my neshama, my divine self. And that took me a few years to get there. And I'll fast forward. It took me to this exact moment. It was COVID. My husband and I were in my apartment in Crown Heights. And we said, I think it's time that we make a move. And I was very resistant to moving because I love the Shechona. I did not grow up there. Right. And it's such a vibrant, geschmack, amazing place. Everything has its pros and cons for sure. Right. But my husband was ready to level up and move out, totally understanding that as a young couple, in order to level up, it's just much harder to do in Crown Heights. And we wanted to go to a different place. So we looked into New Jersey, Hillside, New Jersey. And with a lot of resistance, I went along. I knew already it was going to be hard. I didn't know why or how or what. I knew it was going to be hard to move there. Once we moved there, we already experienced COVID in Crown Heights. We finished. In 3 weeks, we finished COVID. You know how it was in Crown Heights. We had Purim, 3 weeks of COVID, and then back to life.
Yeah.
We moved in June that year to New Jersey. New Jersey was in the middle of COVID. What do I mean by that? The town was shut down. The mikvah was shut down. Everything was shut down. People were scared. They were living in fear. They were locking themselves up in their homes. Right. It was very challenging to create friendships, to integrate into the community because there was nothing. Yeah. It was a new place and it wasn't accessible. That's really what the word is. It wasn't accessible, which made me turn very, very inward, but to an unhealthy point where I started complaining and being in a very, very dark headspace of a victim mindset. Why am I here? I literally don't understand. I don't see myself having a purpose here. I was vibrant and flourishing in the streets of Crown Heights. I had every single shop owner come to tell me, come promote my page here, come promote my business, come run in. And here, I'm in Jersey, can't even go outside. The area that I had moved in was a little sketch. My first initial place there in Jersey was like, didn't feel like safe, like going out for a walk as a woman. Like so many little like parts that just like made the whole bigger story even darker. And I really would ask Hashem every day, like, what is my purpose here? Like what, why did you even make this place like on earth? Like what, like it doesn't make sense. Like it feels like it's like so dark and desolate. Like there must be a purpose in this town.
Yeah.
And there must be a purpose for me here in this town.
Yeah,
but like, what is it?
Over here?
How did I get over here? And at the same time, my husband and I still didn't have children, and we moved in our 4th year of marriage. So you can imagine the energy in the home. It's like a very empty,
lonely,
desolate, lonely feeling, especially when he's going to work. I didn't have that same work because my work was Instagram and social media, and I didn't have that. So I'm like, what am I doing with myself? I'm starting from zero, mamash. One thing that kept me going was, even though I wasn't necessarily aligned with Torah and Chassidus 24/7 at the time, I knew that I would find the answers there. I knew. Mm-hmm. And so during COVID, I would play YY Jacobson, Mattis Freeman, like these rabbis on YouTube on a playlist. And one time I was in the kitchen. I remember this moment very vividly. I was in the kitchen. Again, I was in a very sad headspace all the time, but I was moving through the motions, trying to function. And I hear a video of the Lubavitcher Rebbe saying, and well, first it's in Yiddish because, you know, a lot of his videos are in Yiddish. I don't understand Yiddish. I don't speak Yiddish. Right. So I quickly let go. I'm like, whoa, that's so weird. It's on this playlist. Like I'm listening to speakers, but like I guess it just popped on. So I run to see the TV, and he was saying the whole purpose of a Jew is to create a dira b'tachtonim. And I have been asking Hashem for months, what is my purpose? So I'm like, what? The whole purpose is to create. Let me rewind this. The whole purpose of a Jew is to create a dira b'tachtonim. What's dira b'tachtonim? What is that? And me, I speak a little Hebrew, so I'm like, oh, dira, apartment, tachtonim is underwear. What does this mean? Yeah. What is the Rebbe trying to tell me? Right. So I continue watching the video. I don't fully understand. Remember, my level of Chassidus was not so geschmack the way it is now at the time. And I'm trying to really understand like what the Rebbe's words are. And I start Googling dira b'tachtonim, like what's this concept? And I start looking and reading into it. And really, like my neshama was on fire when I was reading it. There was something about me and that concept that was like, bam, this is it. Connecting the plug. This is like, this is my life force, my life support. So just to explain what the concept is, creating a dira b'tachtonim means to create a dwelling space for God in this lower world. There are many worlds according to Kabbalah. To keep it short, there's the highest realm, which is Atzilus, which is where Hashem's essence is like the most revealed. And in order for him to come join us down in this world, he needs to contract himself into the different worlds. So we have Atzilus, Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya. And we're in Asiya. Asiya means la'asot, to do, the world of action. And only in this world can we do mitzvahs, and can we actually be partners with God in the co-creation process. So God gives us the ability to be his partners in creation on a moment-to-moment basis by hiding inside our bodies. He gives us a piece of himself inside of us, which is our neshama, and we co-create together as a team.
Right.
And when I found this out, I was like, number one, I'm not alone.
Right.
Number two, I literally have the vitality of Hashem ringing, vibrating inside of me 24/7. How can I even be depressed? Like now, like I realize what I'm made up of.
Right.
Like it's time to take action. And the fact that I'm in this dark Jersey place that felt closed and inaccessible means that there's so much work to be done here. There's so much light to be revealed.
Exactly what you need to be doing.
Exactly what I need to be doing. And I remember what I did was I changed my Instagram bio that day. And I wrote, creating a dira b'tachtonim and the crux of the tachtonim.
Wow. And the lowest of the lowest.
And the lowest of the low, because that's exactly where I felt. Of course, Baruch Hashem, moving forward, we moved to a different location within that same community. COVID came to, disintegrated, the community opened, the mikveh opened, the shul opened. I got to meet amazing people, amazing women. And, it's a beautiful, it's a small community, but it's a beautiful Jewish community of many different types of people. And it's really beautiful. And I'm very grateful to be there now. But it was a process. Yeah. It was a huge adjustment.
Wasn't that easy?
It was definitely not that easy. And it's a constant reminder that I need to tell myself, no matter if there's other people, I wake up every day and tell myself right after Moda'ani, Hashem, you gave me life. You chose to wake me up today so that I can be your partner in the co-creation process.
And that's how you live. This is what's in your head.
That's how I live every day.
I am a co-creator.
I'm a co-creator.
And whatever I have to do is I have a partner, Hashem, with me, and I have a mission. It's a shlichus that you have, even though you don't have a Chabad house.
Exactly.
But you still, the people around you, the good mornings and the good nights.
Yep.
And whatever you do, you have the Rebbeinu Shalom with you.
Exactly. Whether the people I interact with are Jewish or not Jewish, it doesn't matter.
And that got you out of that rut, that dark,
that got me out of that rut
place.
Yeah, and I was in a very, very, very dark place, very dark, to the point where I was having extremely bad thoughts, and they were very close to being all-consuming until that video came on. And it's so crazy because I feel like Hashem almost waits till we're on our last wit's end,
The basement of rock bottom.
The basement of rock bottom, exactly. But why do we have to wait all the way to that? I don't know. It's part of the nature of Hashem. Right? Look at Abraham. We're in this week's Parsha. I know the listeners will be listening a little later down the line, but right now it's Lech Lecha.
Right.
Abraham went through 10 tests.
Right.
It's wild. And Yosef HaTzadik, all these people in the Torah, they're not just amazing people because Hashem made them amazing people. No.
Right. It's the nisyonis.
It's the challenges that they go through. Yeah. So it's the challenges that we go through that make us who we are, but it's very important to apply the lessons from the challenges, or else we get tested again, until
you get it.
Until we get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me take you back for a second. You went to acting school?
I did.
For how long did you spend in acting school?
In Manhattan, only 3 years. But I also do have an acting background from when I was in high school and elementary. My parents put me in an acting school in Toronto.
Oh, so this was already from childhood.
Yeah, from childhood.
Grained in childhood.
Yes.
And that's what they expected of you? They saw it in you that you have that?
So they did see it in me, but they didn't want me to go the Hollywood route. Right. They wanted to keep it kosher, and so they kept it clean, and they didn't encourage it for after university.
So what was your experience in these 3 years? I mean, can you share what was how does acting school look like?
I mean, it was kind of very similar mindset of going into college. You go into a class and it's an amphitheater, so there's different rows. You memorize scripts and then you go and perform them on stage. Your classmates and your teacher rates you based on pitch, projection, passion. It's a lot of performing and testing. There's also different types of exercises like improv, voice articulation, a diaphragm work, all types of different work.
You loved it?
I loved it so much. And it's so crazy because as I'm talking to you now, I wouldn't love it if I went right now.
Right. At that time, you remember?
At that time, I loved it. It was
what was the reaction from the teachers, professor? What did they think of
you? I was a great student. Yeah. I was amazing because I was full of passion. That's all I had at the time. That was my it.
Wow.
Oh, and I want to add, I was in a McDonald's commercial. I was in some cool commercials. This was before I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to be on a McDonald's commercial. I learned afterwards that it's not appropriate to. Right. I didn't think it would be so bad, but yeah.
You got the job from school?
No, not from. I mean, everything is connected, but it wasn't directly from school. It was through a different agency, and I also worked for big brands in French and English to do commercials and voiceovers.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of unspoken rules also that the actors and actresses understand that if you want to get this role, this and this has, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
it's like it's not a place for a.
It's not a place for Jewish women.
No,
Definitely not.
You wouldn't recommend that to anybody. Is what you're
Absolutely
saying.
not. Absolutely not. And I would, if someone is interested in acting, feel free to DM me. I would love to have a conversation with you because truly, what is it about acting that we're interested in?
Right. It's about expression and it's just
Being
the way
seen.
you channel it.
I think a lot of it for me was being seen.
Yeah,
I didn't feel so seen maybe as a child.
Right.
The ability to express yourself fully in your wholeness without being judged. There's a lot of parts to it.
When did you first realize that you have a creative side? Like as a child, you were always
When I was 5 years old, I would imitate my uncles, my grandma,
You were
my
the- you were a
family.
clown?
I was a
You-
clown.
you was a clown.
Yeah, but I was also very serious. So people were shocked that like, whoa, Sarah does that? Like, how does she do that? Because I would be silent and like observe and then be able to imitate. And everyone was like, Sarah, imitate me. No, you imitate me now. Like, and I would do it. And people, it would be my family's entertainment. They would sit on the couch, eat sunflower seeds, crack up at my imitations.
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah, so it started from a young age.
Now, as far as school, you went to these Hebrew day schools? Is
Yeah,
that what
I
kind
went
of
to
schools?
Hebrew day schools. Yeah, I went to a Sephardic school for elementary. That was co-ed. And then for high school, I went to a from-girl school, all-girl school.
Right. Now, but you were always like an out-of-the-box
Yeah,
style,
always.
even in those school, even in
Yeah.
Hebrew school?
Yeah, because
Questions and...
I always had questions. And just because of the way I grew up and like where I come from, the different cultures that were in me, you know, I just, it was impossible to be cookie cutter.
Right. Now, where does the Hasidic Hipster Girl name come from?
Okay.
This is also creative.
Okay, yeah, we're getting there. So right when I got married, I think I skipped the part where I got married, but
This was after you got married? The Instagram was created after you got married?
so I had a regular Instagram page with my first name and maiden name,
Right.
and I had a nice amount of followers on it because I was a very active person on campus and university. But so I just shifted the handle name. So it was the same page, and I shifted the name. I will give my husband credit for the name, actually, Hasidic Hipster.
Because in Brooklyn, there's these hipsters and...
Exactly.
So you were going to mix a spirituality with being cool and
Exactly.
showing people that you could be, an outgoing, outspoken person and still have the Rebbeinu Shalom with you.
That's exactly the goal of the name. Yeah, I wanted to merge the spiritual and the physical together.
Correct.
And come up with like a cute name. Recently, I've been like, debating I should just put it to my name and that's it, like Sarah Guigue, and call it a day. But there's something special about the name.
Something special about it,
Yeah.
because it relates to people who are like, some girls want to get dressed or whatever. Everybody's
Exactly.
into their own thing,
Yeah.
and you don't have to be. It's not a steer the two. It's not a
Exactly.
contradiction.
Exactly.
You can put it together if you balance it nice. You can be a model for these things.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I've been learning throughout my years of learning Chassidus is that physical and spiritual are not a contradiction, and the
Right.
whole goal
Right.
is for us to blend them together to merge them as one. And that's why.
And that is your message now that you want
Yes.
to convey on your Instagram
Yes.
for your followers.
Yes.
This is-
So now what drives me is, a few years ago already, I did a full cycle of Parsha videos where I would just like share snippets of the Parsha. This year, I'm going much deeper into it. It's like more of like a Parsha for bring-in
Right.
and then like more intense lessons. I truly believe that we can look into the Torah and see exactly how we need to live. It has instructions for us, guidance, everything.
Of course.
But we need to be able to read between the lines, to look deeper than just the pasuk, to really go deep in there. And Chassidus gives that to us.
Yeah.
And I think it's so beautiful. And that's what I try to teach on my Instagram in a fun and relatable way. Of course, I still have fun sometimes creating fun ads.
Right.
I love getting in touch with my creative side. I think it's important to have that all encompassed, as one.
Right.
As long as it's all for the sake of bringing down Hashem's light. So I can make a really funny video, but it's promoting, let's say, hair covering. That's a mitzvah.
Right.
I could even use a trending audio that has a non-Jewish music, but then blend it in a way that it's, make it with like a kosher twist. Like I'll give you an example. I don't know if you know the song Apate, but it was famous for a bit.
In Europe, it's all over.
It's all over, right?
Yeah.
So this was like almost a year ago already, but it was so catchy. I'm like, I'm going to use this and I'm going to transform it. I'm going to create a zira b'tachtonim with it.
Right.
And I was making challah. What's challah in Hebrew? Pas.
Right.
Pas is dough.
Oh.
So apate,
Wow.
pas,
Wow.
explaining
So
the mitzvah of challah.
Make it creative, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like these rebbes that they used to take a song from a shepherd that they saw and they turned it into a holy song.
That's so cool. I actually didn't know that.
Of course.
Wow.
There's a couple of stories like that these old rebbes and
it's funny because we think, a shepherd's just a shepherd, a simple guy, but a shepherd connects to Hashem more than the regular person.
Right. That's amazing. That's amazing stuff. So how did you find your husband? That was after acting school and after
it was
coming
actually,
back a little bit?
It was right when I decided I'm going to stop acting school, and I was working still in the seminary in Crown Heights. And this is a funny story. When I started making my YouTube videos, his aunt found me on YouTube.
Wow.
This is crazy because my mom was telling me, Sarah, you're not going to find a shidduch if you put yourself on YouTube like this. And I said, yes, I will, because I feel like this is what Hashem wants me to do. And I always was led by my intuition.
Right.
Anyways, my husband's aunt goes on YouTube, finds one of my videos. And at the time, I wasn't Hasidic Hipster Girl. I was just Sarah in Kawa. And she sees the last name in Kawa and she says, wow, this last name is a very big rabbi in Morocco's last name from back in the day. I'm going to look into this girl. How did she look into me? She sees where the video was filmed. It was filmed in that seminary. She contacts the director of that seminary and sends her my resume. And then the director sends me the resume. And then we end up going out.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's one crazy story.
There's a lot more parallels and like juice to it. I had a lot of like transformation I needed to do in order to attract my husband. Ohel stories and all that. But just this piece is, wow. It's incredible the way Hashem runs the world.
Right. And how long were you dating?
Very short, actually. Just about 2 months.
2 months.
Right away when I got the resume, I knew it was him. Before even seeing him, I saw his name on the resume.
You felt that you have such a good intuition.
Thank God.
Wow.
I did, just before receiving that resume, I have to share that I wrote a huge pon, a letter in the Ohel. I asked Hashem, please give me clarity. I really, really, I like everybody. I enjoy my dates so much, but I need to find one person. I need to get married to one person.
Right.
Help me find that one person, someone that's like me. French, Moroccan, Chabad, tan skin. I went from the superficial to the deep to the this to the that. That's exactly what he was.
How old were you?
I was 23. And so was my husband. We were both 23 at the time.
Wow, amazing stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think is mostly misunderstood about Hasidic women?
Very, very good question. I think in general for Chabad, I'll speak for Chabad, we're very expressive in the way we show up in the world. And a lot of the times people think, oh, Chabad's not tznius. That's one example.
Right.
But really, there's a whole spectrum within Chabad. And another thing is that's misunderstood is like our connection that we have to the Rebbe. A lot of, different circles, different communities may view it as avodah zara, when really we're just connecting to tzaddik. And me coming from a French Moroccan background, it's so obvious to me that it's clear. We're connecting to tzaddik to get to Hashem. That's who the Rebbe was. That's who he is.
It's a channel, right?
It's a channel. It's a channel. And as I'm consistently connecting to his teachings, even after he passed.
And if the Rebbe gets you closer, then it's a great thing.
Exactly.
That's the whole purpose.
That's
it's
the
not
purpose.
like you're worshiping something.
Of course.
You're connecting to the Rebbe, a tzaddik, who's getting you closer to the goal, to the purpose.
Exactly. And I do this on a consistent basis, right? Like I feel like that's what differentiates me as a Hasidic woman from another Jewish woman, is that I have this connection to the Rebbe. I go to the Ohel all the time.
Now the women in Chabad have the same deep connection like the men. Is it literally the same level?
I think so. I would say even a little more.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
I mean,
depending on who you
which
are.
I don't know in the other Hasidices if that's the case. I mean, there are like if let's say there's bells or satmar or visionists, the women are satmar visionists bells. But the question is if they like you guys open up a cipher, you look in
Yeah.
and you want to connect.
I think it's because that's the whole like ideology of Chabad is Chachma Bina Das, right? It's like wisdom, understanding, and application. If there's no application to what we're learning, then what are we really?
Right.
You know, like we're here to again, Dir B'Tachtonim, we're here to apply, to draw down, to really make things practical.
The Rebbe used to focus a lot on the women, you know, with all the
Yes.
shlichos and
Yes, there was a very big focus on the women. The Rebbe speaks a lot about the mitzvah of having children, and if it's too hard for a woman, she should get extra cleaning help. And he speaks a lot about hair covering, a lot of the women's mitzvahs in general. There's a big emphasis.
So there's a big focus on women. It's
big
not like
focus.
they're like pushed a little bit to the side.
Yeah, definitely not. And the Rebbe knew that we needed to feel like women, like meaning beautiful and show up in
As
the
well.
world.
Yeah, this was also important.
Very important, which is why Chabad is very big on wearing shaitels, wigs, over a headscarf as a hair covering. Right? Because what makes a woman feel like a woman? Her hair. Hence why we cover it. One of the reasons. But the Rebbe says you can cover it with a wig, and it should be a beautiful wig, and you should feel good in it. You know, and also just the concept of the kinnos, just like giving the women a stage, a voice. There are singers there are musicians, all female.
Yeah, and I remember even, I mean, it wasn't the Lubavitcher paper, but in the Allgemeiner, I don't know if you remember this paper. It was a paper that is, Y.Y. Jacobson's father had a newspaper, and also he had pictures of women all the time, and it was like
for sure.
It was very respect. There was a certain respect that was passing at Chabad more than in other places.
For sure. You're reminding me of this very powerful story. Someone came to ask the Rebbe for a blessing for their new school year calendar. And the Rebbe looks at the calendar and he says, very nice, very nice. I don't see any pictures of the women.
That's what he said?
Yeah. You need to add them in there. So this rabbi went back and he added pictures of the women, and the Rebbe said, much better.
Wow.
At the end of the day, we receive the Torah at Sinai. You know, we're part of the Jewish nation, not only the...
And these Chabad shluchim that he sends out to the world, he didn't even think for a second this is not going to work without a, you know.
For sure.
He is the one who is going to sit back and run this thing. This is not a one-man operation.
Exactly. And if it was, then it wouldn't be as successful because we need continuation, right?
Of course.
We need growth. We need children.
Course. Did you ever get any pushback, like from your stuff that you
definitely
about controversial thing? I don't know what you did or what you said.
Yeah, definitely. I get it. Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I wasn't fully aligned with where I am now, so yeah, I definitely get pushback, but it doesn't stop me because again, my intuition is like burning and it like lights the path for me forward. So I don't care what people say. Like I already know what I need to do.
You feel you have a message of truth, emes, a message that you want to convey, and it's not something that you're doing for your own gain or whatever the case is. You have a higher message.
It's much higher than me. Yeah, which is why my page brings me so much meaning, because I really truly feel like it's coming from a deeper place. And I'm sharing like for the greater good. And I know that it has such an impact on people because more than the pushback, I get such amazing feedback.
Right, like inspiration.
Inspiration, like Sarah, keep going. I may not be commenting on your videos, but I'm telling you this in private. Like, you're amazing. And especially as of recent, sharing my challenges is something I started very, very recently doing. And I had a very big challenge a year and a half ago where I was pregnant for 9 months, and at the 9th month, I unfortunately lost my baby. And I, after the fact, once I processed it myself, shared the intensity of the challenge and how Hashem was really with me through the challenge. Now,
it's very interesting you say that. At that time, there was a lot of grief, and you had a big dream, and you were just already seeing everything, in front of you. and the disappointment, do you feel that all the work you did from before, as far as connecting and whatever got you to where you are till now, helped you get through this?
For sure.
And
For sure.
you understood that you know that what we want is one thing and what the Russian wants is
Yes.
something else.
Yes.
And we don't know what's good for us and what's not. But it's easier said than done. When you have the Nisoyan, like you said before, if you have that challenge, what was going through your head?
So it's a very heavy loaded question, because definitely everything that I had worked on myself up until that point helped me get through that point. As soon as we became pregnant, I remember going to the OHEL and sharing the good news. I said, I'm so grateful. Thank you, Hashem. You know, please help this be a healthy pregnancy, yada, yada. Put my letter in there. And a few months later, the 4th month, the doctor tells us that there's complications. So throughout the pregnancy, without going into every single detail of the story, throughout the pregnancy at the 4th month, we already knew there were complications. And the second I found out there were complications, I held on to Hashem for dear life. I was clinging on to Emunah.
Right.
That's all I had. There was no other option for me. And people are like, you're so strong. There was no other way.
Nobody could help you.
No one.
This is something that is like...
It's personal. It's in my body. It's happening to me. And the doctors are telling me things about my life, maybe at risk if I don't do X, Y, and Z. But my intuition tells me otherwise. And then I have to consult so many moving parts. But what I want to say is that what helped me tremendously on a spiritual standpoint was consistently going to the OHEL, writing in what was happening. And it felt like therapy.
Wow.
I was just writing in. And I felt like I had so many signs and so much guidance. And even though it didn't end in the way that I wanted it to end,
right.
I got exactly clear signs as to what was going to happen next. Without going into every single detail, I'll share the last sign. I actually knew that my baby wasn't going to make it in this world. I knew it was staying in the world of the womb.
Wow.
And I knew that because in the beginning of my 9th month, I went to the OHEL. Throughout, I was going through the OHEL. I'm just skipping. I'm going to this part because it's pivotal to my relationship with the Rebbe. I wrote, please help me find a medical team because my health insurance has been declined. Each doctor is pushing me from one practice to the other because of the complications that this pregnancy is causing. And please just make me healthy. And I really want to live. One thing I really want is I want to live and I want the baby to live and I want both of us to be healthy. I come out of the OHEL and I'm sure you're familiar. When you come out, there's like a TV screen.
Yes. With messages.
With messages of the Rebbe's for bring-ins from years and they replay it.
Right.
And depending on what time of the year it is, you know, they'll play a video from that time of the year. I'm watching the video and the Rebbe's talking about Seder Hishtalshelus, which means the order of the creation of the world, which is what I mentioned before. How Hashem comes from Atzilus,
right.
contracts himself,
right.
smaller until he gets to this realm. And the Rebbe was saying a light that comes from on high and tries to enter this world needs to contract himself. The light needs to be contracted through Atzilus, Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya. And once it gets to this lower realm, the light enters the vessel. But sometimes the light is so bright that the vessel cannot contain the light.
Right.
And so what happens to the vessel? The vessel gets deformed.
Mm.
And then eventually it shatters.
Mm-hmm.
And when I watched that video, I felt a knife in my heart and I said, okay, I know that my baby is actually not going to make it and we're coming to an end. And it's really scary, but it's also comforting that I know. Because I knew this entire time that my baby was very, very special. And I know every parent says that, but no. I took on things, spiritual things, that I would have never taken on if I wasn't pregnant in this way, with the complications that I had. Just for example, I took upon myself to cover my hair around the house all the time, which is, something I would have never done years ago. Chitas every single day. Really, really, really like tightened, like buckled up and like pressed the gas pedal on my spirituality. It was another level. It was another level during that pregnancy. And to hear the Rebbe speak to me directly, I saw that the light was my child's neshama entering my child's body. And just to tell you, the doctors were telling me that child was growing deformed. So everything made sense. The light was too intense for the vessel. That's why the vessel was growing deformed and eventually couldn't make it in this world. And actually couldn't even make it in Asiya, the world of action. It was still in formation. Yetzirah is the womb. The womb is the world of formation. Yeah. So it wasn't able to be in the world of action. But guess what? It gave me the ability to take action, to do mitzvahs. And that's what those children are. They say that about special needs kids. They say that about these types of pregnancies. We don't understand, of course.
Right.
And every pregnancy is different. But this was the meaning I gave to my pregnancy, thanks to the connection I had to the Rebbe.
Yeah. So in a way, you were prepared on what's coming.
I was definitely prepared. The doctor said there's a very high chance that the child will pass in utero, but there's also a chance that the child might make it alive, year 1, year 2, year 3, but not such a long lifespan. Mm-hmm. We were ready for the best and the worst. They told us if the child does come out, it will need to be fed through tubes, breathe through tubes, like everything through tubes, appointments through the night. So it's interesting because there's a lot of emotions tied to the story because there was a lot of relief that was felt after that birth. Because carrying a child that has passed is like it's not a comfortable feeling.
Right.
And also knowing that this child didn't have to go through the tubes and the breathing and the this and that. Right. There's a relief piece. There's definitely some relief. Mm-hmm. Were we tremendously sad that we couldn't have couldn't have been a regular child, regular pregnancy? Yeah. But this is what Hashem wanted for us. Right. And it leveled both of us up to another level. And Bezrat Hashem, it's only preparing us for the next challenge. This is life, right?
Yeah. Struggle.
The struggle. We live and learn.
Yeah. Now, were there any individuals that helped, or did you share anything while this is going, friends, family?
Very good question. It was a very, very private and intimate, personal time. Only when I really needed to share for halachic purposes did I reach out to a rabbi.
Right.
But it was too painful for me to share and to verbalize. Wow. And also I was hoping that by not verbalizing, there would be a miracle.
You mean it's sort of a like Ayin Hara type of thing? You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to.
More like if I verbalize these words into the universe, I'm creating.
Like in this energy, yeah.
Yeah, I'm creating because I'm a co-creator with Hashem. So we co-create with our actions, our words, and our thoughts.
How careful we have to be with the words.
We have to be very careful. Yeah. So I didn't want to create, even tell a friend, hey, this is what's happening. Because maybe in a moment, because in every moment Hashem recreates. Maybe Hashem's forming my baby in the healthy, correct way.
Yeah.
So why would I say something? Nothing's confirmed until it's confirmed. Right. So for me, I had until the actual birth to see really if it was maybe there's going to be a miracle.
Right. And your husband gets a lot of credit because he went through this with you, right?
Yeah,
he held your hand the entire time. He was the only one who had to listen to you about this thing, right?
Yeah. Even though we processed it and we took it very, very differently. My husband's much more pragmatic. Like he's in Atzala and he's just he was more in the medical realm.
More logical.
More logical, understandably so. And I was just I was really living above nature. And I'm going to give Hashem that credit because my Emunah came from Hashem.
Right.
Sometimes we think it's our efforts. It's Hashem gave me that Emunah. And I know that because even after that, I had a patch of time where I didn't have Emunah. And I said, Hashem, I need you to give me back my Emunah.
Yeah.
you know, when you're living like the realm of teva, like nature,
Yeah, of course.
you feel like you're lacking something, you know? Something's
And
missing.
you say, I need it back.
I need
used
it
to
back.
have it.
Yeah, give me this.
Give me
I need
that
to
back.
be supernatural right now.
Yeah,
I need to
right.
close this deal or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We need it. As Jews, we need it.
It's the chaylik elokayim amal that we have
Exactly.
inside. You know, what's a very interesting observation that I heard now when they were talking about the hostages, that these hostages were like, they were never in school, they were chilonim, you know?
Yeah.
And when one of them, they took him into a tunnel, a dark tunnel. He didn't see 1 foot ahead of him. It was like a dark place. Guess what he did? Out of nothing, he started talking to Hashem.
Wow.
Nobody never introduced him to Hashem, but it comes from a place that even if you will never tell a Yid that there is Hashem and there is talking to Hashem and answering everything, he had this whole conversation. He was like asking Hashem for certain things that he wants, started thanking Hashem, and then all of a sudden he was saying, what do you need? I know what I need. You also need something. He started to build this relationship with Hashem. But the observation is that nobody ever taught him this. In his school, nobody talked about it. His parents never told him about it. But when it came to this level, darkness, that deep rock bottom, that you didn't see anything, literally didn't see anything, now light by the end of the tunnel, spoke to Hashem.
Wow, it's really innate. It's an innate piece.
It's an innate piece that we just start talking. Now, what you're saying is that after that experience, did you get closer? Did you, you reflect on the experience with no accepting, with surrender, with no anger, and you know what? I'm giving good energy. I'm looking forward for the future.
Yeah, so I definitely had my shifts because after that experience, like after the high wore off, because there was a bit of a high that wore off, I did go into like intense postpartum depression, which is common.
Yeah, talk a little bit about it for the women who go through that, because I know there's a lot of people who, after a young couple just had a baby and everything went well and everything is fine, and you would think that she would be elated. She just had a baby, she's so happy and everything, and they fall into this. A lot of husbands don't know how to deal with it.
It's really challenging. It's also not. It's really not a personal choice to choose to fall into it. God forbid it happens. It happens because hormonally our body changes, and I'm not sure what the scientific hormones are exactly, but we the hormones that we had during pregnancy, we lose them, and then our body's constantly fluctuating, especially if we're like breastfeeding and we're constantly giving of ourselves, and it's a very draining type of feeling. Even though I wasn't, giving of myself in that way, I still had, my body had the same symptoms. My body went through that same situation, and it's a very, very challenging space to be in. And I was in it for a little bit. I would say like 2-3 months, where I didn't have the passion for anything. I didn't have desire. Everything was numb. I think that's the good way to explain it. Everything was like, felt very numbing. And thank God, a little bit after that, I was able to pick myself back up again. Trying to think of exactly how. I just know life in general, life is a journey. But just to answer your question from before, when I look back at that story, I get jealous of myself that I had so much Emunah then.
Wow.
So yeah, it was one of the most challenging stories of my life, but it was the closest I've ever been to Hashem.
Right, the conversations that you had and the tefillas. Right?
Unreal. Yeah, including the birth itself. Like everything was L'malam and Atava, above nature, big time.
Right.
And I feel like we really get close to Hashem, not necessarily when we're learning Torah or taking things in intellectually, but when something is above seichel, above nature, above understanding, that's our highest, most intimate bond that we could have with our Creator.
Right.
Because it's beyond logic, and it doesn't have to make sense to anyone.
Right.
It's something between me and God. And that's what makes it so powerful.
Right. And you never had the feeling that, because I know a lot of people have it, I speak to a lot of people and they tell me, they feel they're punished. You know, they feel like they have a whole list of things why they don't deserve.
Thank God I did not feel that way. No. I don't view God as a punishing God at all. I really, really, really view that every single thing that Hashem does is for my good. My good.
Right.
Because he loves me, because he chooses me every day.
He created you, yeah?
Yeah, every day. And he trusts me to be his partner in the co-creation process. So if he does something to me, then it must be for my good. Of course, I don't have this like vibrant level of seeing it every single day like that. Like during my postpartum moment, it was very hard for me to see like I had to go through all that and postpartum. Like cut me some slack.
Right.
I was angry, but at least I was still communicating and I was still chatting.
Right.
And I think one really powerful message is don't be afraid to ask Hashem for your joy back, for your happiness back, because everything is from Hashem.
Right.
So like for the moms that are struggling with PPD, it's okay to be in it also. It's okay to feel your emotions while they're happening because even those are God-given. And then know when it's time to like, that's it. I'm done with being a victim, not victim, God forbid. I don't want to say that because postpartum is very, very challenging. But I'll share from my place. I remember I was in bed for about 3 months and I said, I'm just done. I'm done with that. It's time for me to level up. And I remember I chose to take non-negotiable actions upon myself every single day. And they were as simple as wake up and have a cup of water before your coffee. So simple. Go to the gym. I had to re-sign up to the gym. Go to the gym. Non-negotiable. Whether I'm in the mood, not in the mood, you're going. Even if you're doing 20 minutes on the treadmill, doesn't matter. You're going. And the fact that you're showing up in this space where everyone's working out and there's this energy of like, we're working on ourselves, it changed me. Like I committed to these little things. Brachos, I couldn't daven. Like during my low, I wasn't able to do what I did when I was in my high. No way I was doing chitas in my low. But you do what you can. Give yourself micro goals and stick to them non-negotiably. It's very, very important. And that's how I got out of my postpartum. I did not want to take any medication.
Right.
I didn't want to go that route. And I'm okay if people want to, that's okay.
Yeah, sometimes it's necessary.
Sometimes it's necessary, but I said, I know I could do it. Hashem, we could do this together. Come on. And it was very, very hard to stick to this list of goals, but I did it. And once I did it, I started to feel myself again after, I would say, honestly, after a full month, it was pretty quick. After a full month, I was like, okay, I'm starting. The endorphins are coming back.
I'm back.
Exercise is a real thing.
Yeah. Our
body needs to move. And a big part of the postpartum comes from the fact that our body's healing. We can't really move as women. You know, we just went through a traumatic process. Birth is a very big deal.
Right.
It's also very holy.
Yeah.
But physically, it's a lot on the body, and it's important to give ourselves that time to rest, be in the rest, and then when it's time to move, you'll know when it's time to move.
Interesting. It's very powerful stuff that you need to know, and people will relate because this is what they're going through all the time.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about marriage.
Sure.
What advice do you have for women for a good marriage?
Okay. Wow. Such a good question. I think in general, in a lot of relationships that we value, it's important to be able to know yourself, your values, your opinions, and state them, but also leave enough room for the other person. And what's worked for me in my marriage is, my husband and I are quite different. We're similar in a lot of ways, but of course we're quite different, is the quality of listening, active listening, and validating, even if I may not agree.
But I understand what you're saying.
I understand where you're coming from, and that's so valid. But you know what? That doesn't feel aligned with me right now because let me share my perspective now. But before me jumping in and sharing my perspective...
I'm trying to convince you that it's got to be my way.
Correct.
So you're saying I validate
I
where
really
you
validate,
come
but
from.
genuinely validate.
Right. You got to really believe it.
Really believe it. And if you don't validate, ask questions.
Right.
Because everyone is created in their own way. Hashem gives everybody their own packages. Even when you're married, you're growing in your own separate ways.
Right.
I see it with me and my relationship with my husband. But it's important that we share with each other what's going on and that we have the ability to really validate
Right.
and move forward. And not everything gets shared, and that's also normal. You know,
Right.
some things are part of our connection with Hashem.
Right.
Some things don't get shared. But marriage is definitely, it's not easy. I'm going to be blunt and say marriage is a challenge. And it comes with a lot. But when we recognize that it's here to really shape us so that we can become better people, that's when we start seeing it different.
Right. It's not serving each other. It's both people working on themselves
Exactly.
together to build something together.
Exactly.
Now, how would you describe a Aisha's Chayil? What is an Aisha's Chayil?
Wow, it's a big one. Aisha's Chayil. Aisha's Chayil is someone who is devoted to, first and foremost, working on themselves, just like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Because working on yourself, when you do that, when I do that, I know that I radiate more love and light in the home.
Mm-hmm.
I know that. It brings this like light.
What does it mean working on yourself?
So
Which
working-
means going against your grain? Does that always mean working on yourself?
It's such a good question. So for me, it's like filling my schedule or giving myself the fulfillment I need to be happy for myself, not depending on my husband to give that to me. How can I fill my own cup in my own way?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So if for me it means like being really structured and waking up at a certain time and then davening and learning, making challah, whatever it means for me, you know? But making sure that I fill my own cup in a way that fills me up, even going out with my friends, so that when
Which is okay to take some friend time.
For sure.
You know, a
it's
girl's
extremely
night out is important.
And a guy's night out is extremely important.
Right.
We need to get in touch with all of our parts in order to feel whole and complete. And one of our parts is being social.
Right.
Another part is connection to Hashem.
Right.
Another part is connection to self, introspection and journaling. Another part is, our work. Another part is self-expression. Our emotional self. There's so many parts to ourself.
So that makes an Aisha's Chayil?
I think that filling those parts without feeling the need to depend on the other
Right.
for the filling of those parts
Right.
is what makes us an Aisha's Chayil. Yeah, I
Right.
truly believe that.
Right. Because you bring to the you as a matter of fact, your partner would appreciate that more
Exactly.
than being a drag.
Exactly. And you're coming more from this place of fullness,
Right.
ready to give.
Right. And you're content and you're happy also. You're
For sure.
not a negative person because you have your own space, you know.
Exactly.
A lot of people talk about emotional safety. What is that, emotional safety?
Emotional safety. It's a good question. You're saying within the context of a marriage.
Yeah.
What it sounds like to me is like you want to feel heard and understood by your partner. It's really important. And not always is that going to be the case, just by the way, even for me. Like, not always do I feel fully heard, fully understood. I think for me, even when I don't feel heard and understood, it's important for my husband to at least show that he's trying to understand me.
Yeah.
Even if it's like, woo, way over his head, what I have to say, at least he's
Right.
there and he's present.
Right.
But I'm sure emotional safety could come up in a lot of ways.
Right. Like judgment.
Judgment.
You know, like nobody wants to be judged.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big one. Yeah. Like, God forbid, when a spouse puts the other person down because they
Yeah.
don't appreciate
Yeah.
what they're doing or it doesn't align with them. Yeah, that could be really dangerous because that's also coming from a place of not fully accepting the other person.
Right. You don't give space for
Not
the
giving
other person to
space.
be themselves.
That's dangerous. Yeah.
What about perfectionism?
Perfectionism, that's something I personally struggled with.
That's what I was going to ask you with your Instagram page.
Yeah.
Is it do you have that you're afraid what people are going to think or people are going to say? Or
I
the
used
way
to.
You do it 4 times till you post it?
I used to be more of the performance type, remember?
Right.
So performance requires this like level of perfection because I'm performing.
Right.
But now that I'm more sharing, and especially like when after I shared my challenge, I really felt like there was the Sarah before and the Sarah after.
Right.
And now I'm just more lax. And I understand that also people want realness.
Right. It's a relief also.
It's a relief. They connect to the realness. Like my videos that do the greatest, it's not when I prepare and I intellectualize and I share something. No. It's when I speak from my heart. And there's a famous verse. What comes out of the heart goes to the heart.
Of course. Yeah, so what would you say to women who are going through a hard time right now? In marriage, or they're suffering, some women are suffering from fertility, and they're having a hard time, and they're davening, and they're, the biggest tzedekesses were Akaras.
Yeah.
And there was davening, and Rivka went to one corner and the other, and they're davening. What words of chizik can you tell them? They should keep doing what they're doing and believe that the Rebbeinu Shalom is on their side. And there's a plan. There's a plan that you need to surrender. There was a story of a woman who was constantly davening to become pregnant. And she went to all the segulas, and she went to all the tzaddikim, and to the Kabbalists, and they went everywhere until she found someone who told her that you don't have Emunah. And she was like, I don't have Emunah. You should see how much I daven, how much Emunah I have.
Wow.
From in the morning till at night, I don't think there's anybody that has as much Emunah as I do, because I went to every caver and every tzaddik and every... So he explained, no, you want something and you are keeping a scorecard and waiting for Hashem to do whatever you want. The day that you are going to say that my desire is your desire, my roots is your roots, and give up, surrender.
Wow.
And that's when she became pregnant.
Wow. That is a very high level to reach.
Because what happens is that you can sit in the corner and cry and daven and be upset and be angry and look at the neighbors and look at everybody else.
Yeah.
Or you can surrender and you can say, you know what, if this is not the time right now, then make me understand that it's good for me. I don't understand it. But give me a little bit of the das. You were talking before.
Yeah.
Give me a little bit of the das to understand. So what would you say to women who are going through a very hard time right now?
Wow. So first of all, I would validate, because I think it's important for women to feel understood and validated.
Right.
Like, you are going through a hard time right now, and it's so valid, whether it's infertility or, God forbid, abuse. Whatever your current situation is right now, I validate that you are in darkness, in your personal darkness. I would suggest continuing to pray. And if you don't even have the desire to connect to Hashem, ask Hashem, you're in me. You're literally in me. There's a piece of Hashem inside of us. Connect me back to my source. Help me see the light again. I know and trust that whatever it is that you're putting me through right now is for my greatest good and greatest success. Because part of experiencing the light is going through the darkness. Like, we as a nation had to go through Mitzrayim, Meitzarim, right? The very narrowness until we came out. And I would also compare birth is the same thing. I go through 9 months of pregnancy, and then the birth itself is such a painful process, but then you see the light. So in the way Hashem created the world, there's always this constriction and expansion. Tzimtzum and then Geula.
Right.
And to really, again, validate. I know that I'm going through a hard time. I know, I understand, validate. And also, once you take the time to validate and process your emotions and sit with them, ask Hashem, that's it. Now I want to move forward. I want to level up, because the pain in staying where I am is so great that I'd rather take the next step to the pain of whatever the next step is. And it's important to acknowledge that when we're in the same space, even when we're in a very dark space or good space, and we want to shift, the shift is going to be painful too. We need to remember that, because a lot of the times we sit and we say, Hashem, why me? Or even if we're not being a victim, but like we feel like we're like stagnant, we need to take action. We can't wait for something to happen.
Right.
So what can I do to create a change, a shift energetically in my life?
Right.
Maybe I could take on a 40-day challenge. Maybe I can add one specific tehillah. Maybe I could pray for someone else. What can I do? Because if we keep repeating the same actions, we're going to get the same results.
Right.
So really, it's hard. It's hard, and I validate. And I will say, if we want change, we need to be the change. We need to take that change.
Right. Yeah. And a surrender. Surrender is a big one.
Surrender is a very big one.
It's a big one.
Wow. I was just thinking about this last night. I must share.
Yeah.
I fully believe that our purpose in life, we come down here so that we surrender and surrender and surrender and surrender, and we go back as our most surrendered self. But what are we surrendering? The ego.
Yeah.
We're shedding the outer layers of ourselves that no longer serve us.
Yeah.
And the whole goal is surrender, and we see that through Avram's 10 tests.
Yeah.
Why 10? Because every layer he surrendered.
Yeah. Surrender is that things don't have to be the way you decided.
Yes.
Or you had a vision in your head that this is the way your life is supposed to be. You surrender completely to,
Yes.
you don't know. We don't know anything.
We don't know anything, but through the surrender, I'm going to add, we need to be present vessels. It's like saying, I'm just going to use birth again as an example, because for me, that was my most ultimate level of surrender. Because as much as like you think you want to plan this way, that way, God forbid, maybe the baby's upside down or whatever it is, like we don't know what's going to happen during birth. And so for me, it's like the ultimate level of surrender. But you also can't surrender to the point where you're not there, because God forbid you could no longer be in this world.
Yeah, you can give up.
You could give
which
up.
Is not good.
Correct.
Right.
So surrender is like,
there's a fine line.
there's a very fine line. We need to be present in our surrendering.
So we can accept also that what Hashem wants to give us.
Yes.
But on the one hand, you have to know that we are not in control.
Exactly.
Completely not in control.
Not in
It
control.
doesn't really matter what we thought life is going to be or should be, or comparing ourselves to others.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Tanya.
Sure.
I want to talk about the fact, I know you give some lectures and you're very much in tune to it, and you're very much, you love Tanya. And introduce Tanya to the person who never opened up a cipher. And in one word, how does Tanya change your life?
Sure. So Tanya is the most foundational text of Chabad Hasidism, and it was written by the Alter Rebbe as a response to all the people that were coming up to him with their problems on depression and anxiety.
So it's about life.
It's about life. It's very practical steps on how to overcome, again, anxiety, depression, what we are made up of. We have two souls. How do these two souls function? The battle. And it gives such a new perspective and a fresh perspective on literally the struggle. And it's so funny that your podcast is called The Struggle.
Yeah.
Because on purpose. There you go. On purpose, because the struggle is the point of life.
Right.
To be numb to our challenges is a form of death. But to struggle and to say, okay, I have this decision and this decision, or I have this challenge, and to work through the challenge, the struggle is real life. And that's what the Tanya talks about.
Right. I think Simon Jacobson was here, says he reminds me of the struggle from the Nefesh HaBehimi.
Exactly. The two souls, animal soul and the godly soul fighting.
He said the same thing. But the idea is that you're saying something very important. Numbing it and not dealing with it is the worst thing. It's a form of death.
Yep.
So how do you take out from Tanya in one line, where did you have your mind shift that gave you a perspective on life from Tanya?
That the struggle is the ikar. The struggle is the main point.
So that means that healing is a lifelong journey. It's never ending.
Exactly.
So that means till we are going to die. Is this correct? Explain me if this is correct. That's what I'm saying. Until we die, there is going to be a struggle.
Yep.
Not 60, 70 will be okay and we'll retire and everything. Till the last day, there is going to be a struggle, and it's okay.
And it's good. Not only is it okay, it's good. Because if there's no struggle, then are we really living?
Right.
If we're going through life and everything's rosy, rainbows, and butterflies, there's no growth.
But people are waiting for this rosy butterflies.
But that does come after the overcome of the struggle, and it stays there for a very short amount of time because God does not want us to get too comfortable. And then the next challenge comes. And then once we overcome a challenge, we feel like this high.
So the idea is that you always have to have the tools of overcoming it. The struggle is going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
The struggle is here. This is what life is all about. But if you have the tools, if you understand what the Baal HaTanya is teaching us, right? Then you have the tools. You're good to go.
Yeah, and he provides the tools. Alter Rebbe provides the tools in the Tanya.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a very powerful point, even though we said it again and again. Like, we think that once we're struggling, like, our life is over. There's this, like, feeling of, like, overwhelming sadness when we're struggling.
I can't take it anymore. It's like, why me? And, you know.
Yeah. And even get to this point of, like, depression where we're no longer questioning and we're in this, like, abyss of darkness. Right. But really, this is the struggle is presented to you so that it can be overcome. That's literally why it was created.
And that's how you grow.
And that's how you grow.
That's what makes you fulfilled. That what makes you content. You overcame another one.
Exactly.
And another one.
Exactly.
And you have it under your belt. Like, this is what I did. This is how I overcame life. Because
that's the purpose.
That's the purpose.
Yeah. That's why we come down. Hashem brings us down here. I mean, we come down here as souls in order to come back more elevated. We want to return to him as a more refined and polished version.
And we come back refined.
Yeah. Through the struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's actually it's real and it's emes. It's the truth. Do you have any ritual that you do every day that is, like you said, non-negotiable, that you get up in the morning, I do my thing, Sure.
Yeah, I'll share something really simple. I don't do anything before I wash Nagelwasser and say brachos, because
you don't touch the phone.
No. I do Nagelwasser and then I say brachos, and brachos is low key really important. And sometimes people quickly eat something. I used to quickly eat something or do something before brachos, but we don't realize that when we're saying the blessings on the Torah, anything that we could speak is Torah, but we need to ask Hashem for permission before the blessings on the Torah.
Right.
So what I do is wake up, Nagelwasser, brachos. Those are my non-negotiables at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And that's gratitude. I mean, you
of course. Moda Ani. When I say of course. Yeah. So it's brachos with kavana.
Right.
Yes, it's not just brachos. It's and of course there's a lot of days where I daven, but I wouldn't say it's so non-negotiable. And there's a lot of days that I learn and do chitas. But what I'm saying, what's really, really non-negotiable is like Nagelwasser. First of all, it's Moda Ani actually first, because Moda Ani doesn't have the name of Hashem in it, so we can say it.
Right.
And then really internalizing that I am Hashem's co-creator and Hashem chose me today. And I'm so excited now to start my day, and like really feeling those feelings of excitement. And then doing Nagelwasser, which is a purification of the hands, washing our hands. And then saying brachos, which is all the basic blessings. Like, thank you, Hashem, for clothing me, for straightening my back, for releasing me. Like, they're so...
Giving me all my needs. Yeah. And you have eyes, you can see.
Exactly. It gets me into this mentality of like, we need to be grateful for the simple things. Like, I am now grateful for the simple things. And now anything that I go into, I'm in this like calmer gratitude mindset.
Yeah, unbelievable stuff. And this is what gets you through. This is what your go-to thing when you have a hard time in life. The gratitude part.
Yeah, the gratitude piece is huge for me. Yeah, because with gratitude, the more gratitude we have, the more joy we cultivate.
Right.
For sure.
Now, I want to talk about public speaking. You do that too. Sometimes you get hired to be an MC or stuff like that, and you have an easy time with that, because sometimes public speaking for people is not so easy.
Yeah, I love it. I really do love it.
It's part of your acting.
Exactly.
It's part of your performance. So you have this in you. But do you prepare? What's the procedure?
I prepare because I'll ask, let's say, like if it's a synagogue or a Chabad house or whoever's hiring me.
Research.
Yeah, I'll ask also like what they want the topic to be about.
Yeah.
And
But you don't get nervous in any way? I mean,
I
before
definitely
you
get
get
nervous. I'm
you
human.
always get nervous, right?
Yeah, I definitely get nervous beforehand, especially if it's a really big crowd.
But
Or
you
if
look at it like a Broadway show. You look at it like you put on a performance over there.
I would say a mixture of that and a mixture of like my ultimate purpose. Like Hashem wants me to do this, and I'm here to spread a higher message.
Vessel, right?
Yes,
You want to be a vessel. And what's the feedback that most moves you when you, after a presentation or something, is it?
When people give me their positive feedback and say like, "Wow, like that really struck a chord in me," or when I feel like I really affected the crowd, it's such a good feeling.
Yeah, it's a feeling that you can't describe.
You can't describe it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. You can't buy it. It's just a person just got taken over by.
Inspiration.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, you're looking back from when you were a child. Did you know that you are going to be where you are today, or
Absolutely not.
this was not in the?
Absolutely not. I, for some weird reason, thought I was not going to be religious.
That's what you thought.
Yeah, I thought I was going to live like a regular, basic
No, but you
life.
knew about. I mean, what did you know about religion or Hasid?
I definitely did not know enough about Hasidus.
But you liked the life that you lived. And you said, I'll be like a.
Yeah. Like.
You were a career woman. You
Yeah,
wanted
I was
to have.
very career
actually, you
oriented.
wanted to go to become an actor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
You wanted a fun environment.
Yeah.
The fun place.
But I allowed my intuition to guide me, and it wasn't where I was supposed to be.
Wow, it's amazing. It is mamish amazing stuff. So, what do you want young girls or women to internalize from your story?
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to bless that you should, all of you listening, women and young girls, that you should be in touch with your intuition. That you should feel when the voice of Hashem is speaking through you, because it's here to guide you in life, and to always be attentive and listening to that inner guidance, because that's what will lead you to your next step. That's one piece. And that you should see the challenges as something to be overcome and something for your greatest good, so that you become the best version of yourself.
Yeah, that's very, very powerful. Very powerful. Now I have a final question for you.
Sure.
Who is your role model?
Wow. Well, the first thing that popped up right now without even thinking is the Lubavitcher Rebbe.
Wow, very nice.
Yeah.
How did he make an impact on you?
Wow. What a question. What a question. I mean, he continues to make an impact on me, because whenever my husband and I travel around the world, I walk into a Chabad house in the middle of nowhere and I see, whoa, like a huge picture of him. I get this like feeling in my body, like the Rebbe instituted that the Jews here in this country, middle of nowhere, should have kosher food, minyanim, a place to belong as a Jew.
It is beyond words. The Ahavas Yisrael that this man, this tzaddik had, that there is a person who was living in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Okay? And he doesn't know anything, but there is a Chabad house over there that calls him in on Sukkot for a Lulav and an Esrog. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe passed on years.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff is still happening, because there's a Jew over there that maybe can do a mitzvah over there. I mean, it's beyond words.
The care he has had for every Jew is another level. And not only care, but love. Love. And I never got to see him in real life, but I know, I've heard from people who have. And just seeing his teachings, the way he writes on the weekly parsha, and whenever I connect to it, I feel such profound love. I feel like I'm immersing in the epitome of love and light.
It is unbelievable.
So it's truly unbelievable.
A true role model.
Yeah, a true role model.
So, sometimes we meet people who remind us that it's not about having all the answers.
Mm-hmm.
It's about walking with Hashem. We don't know all the answers.
Yeah.
It's all about, like we said before, surrendering, walking to Hashem, and having Hashem when life breaks you.
Yeah.
When life breaks you. And this is reality. And this is not all peaches and cream.
Exactly.
Life.
It's turning to Hashem through the struggle.
Yeah.
When it's the hardest and most difficult, because we think Hashem is concealed. Where's Hashem? Hashem's not here. Hashem left me.
Yeah.
No. Hashem gave you this opportunity. And now he wants you to reach out to him through the struggle. It's Hashem wants to be brought in the darkness because Hashem actually removed himself from the darkness so that we as his partners can bring him back in.
Yeah. Yeah. You remind us that holiness sometimes happens in the mess. It's not only in the shul.
Yes.
It's not Yom Kippur night.
Exactly.
You can make a Kol Nidre night, a Yom Kippur, in your own little, in your own house, where the things are getting tough.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for sharing. I want to thank you for sharing your light. And I want to thank you for sharing the emes and the truth. And I appreciate you coming in today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you.